God. You can't. You cannot let these starved savages cast lots among us, as they said. Which one to devour now? Please, God, please save us. Mary, Mother of Christ, intercede for us.
Three more days of this. 3 hot, stench-gagging days. No water anywhere. No seagulls anywhere. Yet oceans of water everywhere. Molten, red gold, glazed, glowing oceans of hell, belched in wave after wave of burning, searing heat. Better so, perhaps. No one cared or tried to walk about. No one cared to talk with plans to kill. To eat someone on board. There was only stillness now. Hot, unmoving, soggy stillness. Then, what was that? A breeze. Oh, God, a breeze. And there to the east. Oh, dear God, it's land. It's land. It's Valparaiso.
Well, mused Mother Joseph, that was divine providence for you. You prayed and trusted, believed and hoped. Then came the clamoring, beating down upon you of sorrow and fear. Fear deep and wide, suffocating one's hopes into the blackness of despair. Yet, from that horrible past, ever awful to think about, there now grows in Chile that other work of love, unsought, unasked for, designed and carried on by those pioneer nuns first destined for the West. And this new cupulate house here in Vancouver, hadn't those South Americans given lavishly toward it, and for the orphans it now sheltered? Bless them, and ever blessed be the providence of God. Well, now to fix that gate, friend and neighbor could lean some more. And there, directly across the road, lay the barracks and the land of the U.S. military, where she and the others lived from that ground-frosted December afternoon of '56, when first they sailed up this beloved Columbia. Whatever could she have accomplished those many years without those boisterous boys from the post? Maybe it was blankets and bedding for the new orphans in the Providence house, or more pillows and blankets for the Indian children at the newly opened Cowlitz school.
Then there was Colonel George Wright, commanding officer, sending Major Babbitt to help bring along usable lumber from the old building still standing from the Hudson's Bay days. How graciously understanding he had been. Nails, Mother Joseph? You have enough. Well, what about screws or tools to work with? Perhaps some of the men could swing a hammer or two. Say the word, Mother. All you have to do is speak up, you know. And after his time, another courtly commanding officer sent word each time the paychecks came. Would she send along a sister to the office, please? The men preferred it that way. The donations would be given then. And they were, too. It was about this time, too, that one of the old buildings used for housing caught fire. The soldiers at drill came running. It was soon controlled. From that day on, the order stood, given by Colonel Anderson, for any or all men to go immediately to the mission grounds to give aid, without waiting for special command. How the sisters loved those hearty Americans. Noisy sometimes, perhaps, but ever gentle and generous.
With a chuckle, she remembered that morning of excited scurrying. Many nuns fussily hurrying to say, "Did you know a soldier slept in the dormitory last night?" "You know, Mother, during the night I thought, my, Sister Bridget must have a terrible cold. I've never heard her snore so heavily before." Poor lad. He must have had perhaps too many before trying to get his way back ahead of Taps. He could scarcely be blamed for confusion. Stairs were stairs, and rows of beds are much the same, be it a barracks room or convent hall. And first to the left is the same direction, be you muddled or sober. And heavens, that rising bell, like the clang of a fire alarm, must have jolted him into sobriety all right.
Thinking, great guns, what's that? Where am I? What? Oh, my gosh, this must be the convent. How do I get out of here?
What a state his nerves must have been in to meet a sister whose shriek brought dozens of them on the run. What a racket his huge boots made on 3 flights down the stairwell. Oh, my, what a story he had to tell his grandchildren.
They had ideas, those boys. Lieutenant Bradley might saunter in and say casually, "We hear you're thinking about going to Idaho and Montana again to beg funds among the miners. Couldn't we put on a bazaar? Or a band concert? Or maybe a social for you?"
Oh, hey, did you hear those boys, those marching boys, a-going down the California way? They say there's gold. Oh, yes, there's gold. Great big, wonderful handfuls of gold. To the west or west, the group that does, to California they go. Oh, boys, oh, to California we go. There's gold, we're told, in the west. There's gold to the west or west. Let's group that does. So, oh, boys, oh, to California we go. They walk or row and well across the river's wide to find that load of shining gold across the mountainside. The group that does, the group that does, you wonderful gold mad boy. So, boys, oh, to California we go. There's gold, we're sold in the west, there's gold to the west, oh, but let's group that does. So, oh, boys, oh, to California we go.
From the west end to the east wall, her eyes traveled with fondness over Providence to Saint-Ange, Providence of the Holy Angels, as it was newly named. Maybe it was the angels should have solved the problem of Rebecca. Not a new idea, praying to the angels, but she'd been busy imploring those more influential personages beyond the golden doors of paradise. Much good they were doing from up there, for all the response was coming concerning the orphans. Of course, maybe if all the prayers were answered, one got a bit lazy. Maybe. Well, she'd manage somehow, she supposed. There at the high-shuttered window sat Rebecca, whom everyone lovingly called Becky. Becky, the tall, slim girl, with smooth bronze skin, rich as the ripened gold of fluttering leaves on a blue, lazy autumn afternoon, with eyes that danced, frolicked, or mocked, from depths brown velvet as cattails swaying lazily on a summer's afternoon. Becky, the frail, shivering scrap of a baby, solemn-eyed then in her 2-year-old dignity, neither crying nor talking, but watching with eyes full of frontier heritage, interpreting signs and sounds like her grandfather chief from the great riverbank. Cherry, her mother had called her.
Cherry has no father. She cannot be one of us. You black gown lady, you take care of Cherry for me. Then she vanished into the fast-falling mist, leaving a brown-eyed baby staring unblinkingly as a newly hatched owlet stares over a wind-blown prairie.
Cherry, indeed. Or did she mean Cherie? Ma belle petite Cherie. My little one, some man had called her for some little time before going on. Well, either way, what saint would come to her rescue with a name like that? Surely no one in heaven wearing a halo answered to the name of Cherry. And not all would come running at Cherie. Surely not all would be darlings in heaven, any more than they were here on earth, where you had to put up with them. It had better be a strong woman's name, a name honored in the Bible. Rebecca. That would do. And what had happened to that? Becky. Everyone called her Becky. Becky's starlit eyes dreamed of Jim, banker's son from across the river, in a town where heartiness and homespun joviality were now taking on the manners of royalty. Elegant folk didn't stop and talk to the passerby anymore, or to friend and neighbor along the rough-pebbled walk with the picket gate. Society now lived in turret houses,